why your dental marketing is not working. All too often, marketing in dental practices is viewed as sending mailers or running ads. Yes, those are forms of marketing, but marketing in your practice. One of the biggest things I see is that your team and your practice as a whole is not properly trained to intake patients and convert those incoming phone calls. Another reason why your dental marketing may be failing is because your scheduling systems are. If you go out and spend money on marketing, but you don't have these things buttoned up in your practice, your marketing is not going to perform as well as it could. It's either a negative feedback loop or a positive feedback loop. So on this episode today, I wanted to talk about something that affects a lot of practices and a lot of owners, forcing them to feel stuck. And that is dental marketing, specifically why your dental marketing is not working. I see a couple different things happening in practices as it pertains to dental marketing. One thing that's pretty common is a lack of spending on marketing. And a lot of that comes from fear that marketing doesn't work. It comes from having tried certain marketing techniques in the past and feeling like we didn't get success or we didn't get an ROI from those, and then just abandoning marketing altogether moving forward. There's all sorts of different scenarios, but this is number one, or the first thing that I see often, is that we're just not spending on marketing at all. And on the flip side of that coin a little bit are practices that are spending on marketing, but either not seeing the results that they want or not capitalizing on what they are spending on marketing in their practice. So I want to talk a little bit about that today because both of these scenarios are, quite frankly, bad scenarios to be in with dental marketing. And these are scenarios where marketing is not working. And this is not the way to go. All too often, marketing in dental practices is viewed as sending mailers or running ads online. Yes, those are forms of marketing, but everything is marketing in your practice. Now, let me elaborate on that. So why your dental marketing is not working, your traditional dental marketing, is because you're not viewing everything as marketing in your practice. I want to run through some things here that essentially a checklist of very common things that I see practice owners not getting right, and it's causing their entire marketing strategy find new patients and bring those new patients into their practice. It's causing all of that to fall apart. One thing that has to happen if you want your marketing to be a success. And I'll take a step back here again and define marketing as not just sending those mailers or running those ads. It's from the moment that someone sees you on Google or finds you, converting them to a new patient and bringing them into their practice and giving them an awesome experience in your practice. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about marketing. One of the biggest things I see is that your team and your practice as a whole is not properly trained to intake patients and convert those incoming phone calls or inquiries into new patients that arrive on your schedule. When's the last time that you had a sit down with your team, not just your front desk team, your entire team, and talked about or calibrated on how to answer the phone? I'm going to guess it's been a little bit of time. If you've done that recently, pat yourself on the back. It is so important in your practice to be calibrated on what happens when someone calls the office. It sounds simple, but so many practice owners just leave that up to chance, and then they are perturbed when new patients schedule, inevitably cancel or don't show, or the calls that are coming in aren't converted into new patients that actually land on the schedule in the first place. That patient experience in your practice starts from the moment they become aware of your practice, but especially from the moment that they call your front desk and your phone rings in your practice and they pick up that phone. Is that receptionist answering the phone with a smile? Are they immediately endorsing you and your team and inspiring confidence in that patient? Are they communicating with their words and their tone of voice that your time is precious, and they are in essence confirming that appointment and making the patient say, I would never no-show or cancel this appointment for this practice? Are they doing all those things and checking all those boxes? If you're a practice that has a high-functioning team where if people are busy at the front desk, a hygienist or an assistant may pick up the phone here or there, or you may pick up the phone, are they all prepared to answer the phone in that way? Are they all prepared to do this to the level that it needs to be done? You have to make sure of that. It is crazy to spend money on marketing or focus your efforts on acquiring new patients, which we know your practice needs to thrive and grow, and not have this part of things buttoned up. Another reason why your dental marketing may be failing is because your scheduling systems are a wreck. We could have 20 podcasts about scheduling and the right way to do it in a dental office. But if your practice does not have a defined system for how new patients are being scheduled, and anytime someone calls your office, they're just being told that our next available is in 3 weeks, or when can you come in, et cetera, trust me, you are losing out and wasting marketing spend and wasting energy because you don't have a system in place to get patients scheduled appropriately. Again, this comes down to your training and your leadership of your team. It's really easy for us as practice owners and as dentists to deflect blame in situations like this. But at the end of the day, we talk about extreme ownership all the time on this show. A lot of this comes down to taking extreme ownership of your team, your systems, and every aspect of your practice, and saying, if I want something to happen, if I want to improve and grow as a practice, I need to own this myself 100%. From a scheduling standpoint, it's okay to have a little bit of a wait for patients to get in. I think that shows if a patient calls and can immediately get an appointment at any time of the day, at any time they'd like, or any day of the week, that subtly tells the patient something weird. It's like, is this practice not busy? Do these people not know what they're doing? If you have demand, then it is expected that there may be some sort of a wait to get into the practice. But if you cannot fit a new patient in for weeks and you think that's a normal thing and your team isn't trained to try to fit that patient in who needs to get in sooner, or you're not exploring ways to increase your capacity to see new patients, you are losing out on growth and pushing away patients who want to come to your practice. In the same vein, if you're not triaging these patients over the phone and determining what their true chief complaint is, and again, just scheduling them as you always have, maybe in the hygiene chair at your next available opening, you're losing out. There are so many patients who have needs that go above and beyond hygiene. We know this. We have emergency type patients. We have problem focused patients who urgently need our help. And if your team is not immediately making that patient feel heard and making that patient almost feel like we're bending over backwards to try to get them in and do something good for them and immediately build some great goodwill with that patient, you're missing out. I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all solution to scheduling in a dental practice, not to go too far down this rabbit hole, but there is a system that needs to be in place for you and your office. You have to have very defined systems and a defined framework for your team to work within to schedule patients in the practice. At some point, that's going to break. That system is going to malfunction, and you're going to have a schedule that is just a mess. And I firmly believe that even though you can get away with that in a dental practice, you can get away with just not having really any defined systems or letting each team member do what they want to do with the schedule. I firmly believe that having a very clearly defined system in your practice for the team, no matter what the size of your practice is going to help you grow and going to help you make your days more sane and more productive. I've seen that to be true in so many practices. Another reason why I see dental marketing not working is because of a team that is not high functioning. And if that's the case, it almost always comes down to the owner doctor. It comes down to the person who calls the shots. And by not having that team that's truly working together as a unit, the owner doctor is essentially saying, I'm okay with this, or turning a blind eye to that because it's difficult sometimes to lead a team. It's difficult to get everybody on the same page. But I view a high-functioning team as a team that's aligned every single day on what our goal is, what our mission is, and how we do things in the practice. I view a high-functioning team as a group of people who support each other and all realize they play an important role in taking care of patients. They all play an important role in treatment acceptance and scheduling and creating that great patient experience that we know we need to have in our practices to allow us to continue to grow and achieve what we want to achieve. If the front desk team is answering the phone in a monotone voice and they're not confirming that the patient has made a great decision to call this office and that they'll love the doctor and the hygiene team, your assistants are just going through the motions and not helping you co-diagnose issues with patients or not helping patients think through or work through the issues that they're having. If your hygienists are just chatting away for 55 out of the 60 minutes of an appointment about life and little Johnny's baseball game, and they're not actually helping you as the doctor take care of these patients' needs, and then you as the doctor are only person, or you feel like you're the only one in the office who can help patients understand why they need that crown or why they need that implant. Everybody's kind of in their own world. That is not a high-functioning team in a dental office. I get how easy it is to take your eye off the ball when it comes to cultivating a high-performing team like this. We get busy as dentists. We have a lot of hats to wear as owners, but consistency in holding people accountable and letting your team know what you expect and how things need to happen in your practice is one of the highest ROI uses of your time. And all of the things I just mentioned, all of those thoughts on having a high-performing team, that all is marketing. I mean, that is what will get your patients to refer their friends and their family to you. It's what will take someone who's on the fence about coming to your office or coming to the dentist at all from where they're at to a new patient that's sitting in your chair that you're able to help. This all contributes to marketing in your practice. And so it's this interesting thing where if you go out and spend money on marketing, but you don't have these things buttoned up in your practice, your marketing is not going to perform as well as it could. But then if or when you get these things buttoned up, you create that high-performing team, you have good scheduling systems, you answer the phones perfectly, that will make your marketing work better. It's either a negative feedback loop or a positive feedback loop. One of the worst moves you can make is spending a bunch of money on marketing and expecting that to fix all these other underlying things in the practice. Or not spending on marketing or not focusing on patient acquisition and feeling like marketing just doesn't work for you because you don't have all these other things taken care of. Another big thing that I see that can cause issues with marketing working in a dental practice is the dentist. We obviously play a huge role in treatment acceptance and treating patients in our practices, but it's all too often that I see dentists being wishy-washy in their treatment recommendations, doing nothing to communicate any real urgency on treatment in their practices. And as a result, they're getting patients coming through the practice, then their schedules are still empty. And they're wondering why that's the case. And sometimes it takes a look in the mirror. Sometimes it takes really evaluating what our process is from the moment that patient walks in the practice to the moment they leave. How does that process look? And how does that help patients get their needs taken care of and get on our schedules? One of the things that I just love to do with clients, and I'll be honest, it's awkward to do this, is to record themselves giving a treatment plan presentation with, patient permission, of course, or role playing, when they're talking to a patient, video and audio, getting an idea of what they sound like, what they look like when talking to patients. And it is jarring to hear yourself on audio and video. I've been doing this podcast for a couple years now, and I still get jitters and have to do cuts and, have issues sometimes being on a recording. So it's natural to feel butterflies when doing this, but it is such a productive exercise. I can't tell you how many times I did this early on in my practice, or clients will do this, and then they look back at the video or audio and they think, wait a second, that's what I sound like? That's what I look like? That's my body language when I'm sitting there face to face with a patient in this intimate setting? I can't believe it. And I encourage you to do this yourselves if you never have, and really reflect on everything that goes into a treatment plan presentation, if you want to call it that, in your office. But really, looking at it big picture, I want you to look at everything that goes into that patient experience, including your role as the dentist, and figure out where you can improve throughout that entire process. So I'm talking to someone about this, a fellow dentist, and we're saying, well, what levers do we need to pull here to grow our practice, if that's our goal? Or what levers do we need to pull here to get more new patients or to, increase my productivity as an office? And it's kind of a chicken or the egg scenario, right? Do we fix these processes in our practice before we spend more on marketing, or see what forms of paid marketing will bring us the best and most new patients? Or do we up that marketing spend first and then work on this all, afterward? And I think both of those things can happen in conjunction in an office that's trying to grow. It's working on these internal systems that we just talked about to make sure that the patient experience, from initial phone call to getting a crown done in their mouth and then getting on your recall schedule, is fantastic. We make sure that process is buttoned up, while also looking at our external marketing and our branding and just how everything online, everything in person with your practice makes a patient feel, how you communicate as a dentist, how your team is communicating to patients, and how they make them feel. There are so many little things in your practice that will contribute to your marketing either being a success or a failure. And I think it's a fantastic use of your time to get into those details and really assess what you need to do to make sure your marketing is working. All right, well, that about wraps it up for today. I hope you found this podcast helpful, informative, or insightful. As I said before, if you're looking to take your practice to the next level, head on over to our website, fill out that free practice assessment form, or just email me, matt@thelifestylepractice.com, and we can connect. I hope you guys have a great one, and I'll talk to you again soon here on the Lifestyle Practice Podcast. Cheers.